Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, this is a motion to increase bond that's been filed by the state. We're going to go on the record. Court is calling NYMEG number 708742, State of Texas versus Karen Garniga. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Johnny Rodriguez on this card.
And are you Ms. Garnica?
Yes.
All right, the state has filed a motion to increase your bond. Defense, have you had a chance to review the motion?
I am, Your Honor.
And are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
We don't have any witnesses, Judge. I just have argument based on the violation reports. This is the fourth violation report, Judge, and on the first page of my motion, there was a violation report.
Just one moment. Could you pull the violation report on Karen Garnica for me, please?
Judge.
Thank you. All right, state.
So, Your Honor, what we're asking for is for the bond to be raised to $100,000 with full house arrest GPS. The reason we're asking for that is this is the fourth violation report, Judge. On the first violation report, which was filed May 17th of 2023, the defendant was continued on ignition interlock. Just a little less than half a month later, on the 30th of May, there was a second violation report where the bond was increased from, I believe it was $35,000 to $50,000 and continued on ignition interlock. And then a month later, in June of 2023, there was a third violation report. And the defendant was supposed to continue with no driving, in-home breathalyzer, and add drug and alcohol testing random. This is the fourth violation report, Judge, and so the reason for this violation report is non-compliance with the random drug and alcohol testing with diluted samples. So it appears to the state that the defendant is not complying with the conditions of her bonds. We're asking that her bond be raised. We're asking for the addition of the full house arrest GPS, Your Honor. This is, the code says you can set reasonable conditions of bonds to protect the community, and so that's what we're asking for, Judge.
All right, any objections to the court reviewing the violation reports, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so the court will note the first violation report. She was continued. That was signed by Judge Nahara, and that was on May 18th, 2023. And that violation report was due to the failure to enroll ignition interlock. Then the second violation report, which was signed by Judge Nahara, there was a bond increase of $50,000, and the issue was failure to enroll in ignition interlock. Then the third violation report was signed by Judge Nahara, and that was from June 22nd, 2023. And the issue was high BRAC readings. And so that was to continue with no driving, in-home breathalyzer, and drug and alcohol testing. And now we're here on the fourth violation report, and the issue is non-compliance with testing. All right, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. May I ask her? Yes, what?
Sure. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up. State your name for the record.
Karen Garnica.
All right.
Mr. Nika, you heard the first violation about the issue. Can you tell us what was happening at that time?
I did not have a vehicle to install the interlock
And why was that?
because I have just crashed my truck.
And my understanding is that you had another vehicle under your name.
Yes, I did a favor to a friend and I took out a car under my name, but he's the one paying all the bills.
So he paid the bills, insurance, and all that, and all that
Yes.
good stuff.
I'm
So-
sorry, you're gonna have to speak up and slow down. I can't understand your questions,
I
counsel.
understand that. So you don't drive the vehicles as well?
No,
So you haven't driven any vehicle since then, correct?
no.
And can you tell us what was happening at the time where the bond were raised to 50,000? When we went to the judge, and the bonds were raised to 50,000.
The second violation was also because I do not have a car and I couldn't install the internet.
And did you fix that?
Yes,
How did you fix it?
we gave me a portable breathalyzer
And when did they when did they give you the portable breathalyzer?
on June 10th.
And have you had any issues with that since then?
At the beginning, because I had never used one, so I didn't know certain foods and drinks will make it a false positive.
I'm sorry, what?
Because I didn't have experience with the breathalyzer, so I didn't know that certain foods and drinks would cause a false positive.
And what foods, drinks were you taking at the time?
The very first time I had eat a grilled cheese sandwich, and apparently the cheese and hot bread will cause a false positive.
And were you also drinking energy drinks such as Ghost and Powerade and
Yes, I drank pre-workout.
Ed, have you been drinking those drinks since then?
No,
And regarding the last violation of two diluted sample, what did they tell you about that?
that I drank too much water before taking the test, so it came out too diluted, and it was suspicious.
Okay, and when did they tell you that?
February, and it was the very first time also I had taken the urine.
And when did you do that?
No, she didn't hear what you said.
Okay, when did you take those drinks?
No. What you just said, repeat it.
Oh, the very first time when I took the UA, they told me I had drank too much water. On the 9th also, I believe it was 3 times.
Okay, and were there any consequences because of that?
No.
Did you have to come more
Oh,
than one
yes,
time?
I'm sorry, yes.
Did you have to come more than one time to San Antonio to be tested?
Yes, I'm testing weekly now,
Okay, when did that start?
on the 9th,
Okay, and are you currently working right now?
yes.
And where do you work at?
Marmoli Granito Nido,
How long have you worked there?
almost 4 years.
And what do you do with the money so you earn from your,
I help out with the rent and the bills at home,
how much do you pay per rent, for the rent yourself?
625,
And for the waters and utilities and electric, how much do you?
around like 150.
And what are you asking the court to do today?
To please keep things how we have them.
Why?
Because if I get in house arrest, I might lose my job and I won't be able to help out my parents with the rent.
Okay, and you haven't engaged in any criminal activity since then? Since you heard, Judge?
Oh, any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Ms. Garnica. My name is Hank Wilkins. I'm one of the prosecutors here. If I ask you anything that you don't understand, just let me know and I'll rephrase it. Okay? So where do you work?
Marmoli Granito Nido.
What's that? What is that?
MA, it's we sell granules for the countertops at home.
You sell granite?
Yes, marble quartzites, like for home.
Okay. So what is the name of it?
Marmo, MARMOLYGRANITO.
Okay, all right. And so you're saying your testimony to the court is that the false positives were due to a grilled cheese sandwich, energy drinks, and too much water.
Yes.
Okay, I pass the witness, Judge.
All right, any other questions?
Judge, so we have no more questions for the witness.
All right, the court will hear argument. State.
Your Honor, this is the 4th violation report. We believe this bond increase in the GPS full house arrest is necessary to protect the public with the alleged offense is intoxication assault. These violations reports, I believe, show continued behavior and also escalating behavior. And I don't find it particularly credible that grilled cheese sandwiches, energy drinks, and too much water caused all 4 of these violations, Your Honor. So that's why we're asking for the increase in the bond amount and the full house arrest GPS, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would ask for the court to consider what the Ms. Garnica said. She said she didn't know. She ate a grilled sandwich, but most important, she said that she was drinking power drinks and energetic drinks as well. And those contain a derivative of alcohol. She stopped drinking those things. And concerning the interlocks, she had a portable device. She would finally issue one. She hasn't engaged in any criminal activity whatsoever. She has tried to remain as compliant as possible. I understand. I don't think this is the case where it's warranted to go with the orders what the state's asking. I will ask the court to keep it the same. I don't want her to lose her job. Her family depends on the job, and she's already going weekly, coming weekly to San Antonio for the testing. I think that should be enough. That's all I have.
All right, so state, wouldn't this be solved, the issues be solved with full house arrest?
Sure, Your Honor. Yep, that would work for me.
All right, what I'm seeing before me, counsel, is continued violations.
Judge, if I may,
Yes.
On the first two, Your Honor, there was a hearing, I believe with Judge Nahara, but there was an issue with the part of the bias, went back and forth trying to get the bond. I don't think that those should be held against her. And the latest ones, power drinks, stuff like that, she did admit that she didn't know about it, but now she knows about it, so I'll ask for the court just to keep the same, Your Honor. If she needs to come twice, 3 times a month, I think she's already coming once. I think that in itself, it's a sanction. I would pay for her to lose her job, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna put her on full house arrest. I'm not gonna increase the bond. Is there anything else?
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have any discuss?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm a little disappointed because frankly, I wanted a Judge Boyd off the record moment. Those of you who are familiar with the judge, you know, when she does that, okay, now we're going off the record. And she gives a stern talking to you. I needed that. I feel like I needed that. I what surprises me also about this case is that she, you know, I get that it's significant to put someone under house arrest, to have them monitored by an ankle bracelet, to increase the bond to $100,000. Those were all significant advances, and I guess that's what the DA was asking for. So Judge Boyd did lay it down, but I almost wanted something more. And it's not about what she did to get more, although that is dangerous. We've seen enough of these cases where they're let off the hook, they're let off the hook, they're given slack, and then they take a life. But it was how she lied, comically so. I mean, you can't make it up. I just feel bad for her attorney. Her attorney's like, really? I'm just playing it out. Like, I can't imagine he came up with this strategy. You know, I'm sure she's like, I had a grilled cheese sandwich and some energy drinks. Really? I mean, I had grilled cheese sandwiches and energy drinks. That's why I blew a false positive. I drink too much. You know how much water you have to drink to dilute a test? Do you know? You don't drink that much water by accident. You just don't. Oh man. And you know, when you come to the court and you make a mockery of the court, which I believe she did by lying, I don't feel bad for you anymore. And I would throw the book. There's one thing to mess up. You're struggling with addiction, you got issues, but there's another to come to the board and just, I mean, it's the dog ate my homework. It's like, it's just, it's even worse than that. I mean, there are some dogs that like eating paper. It's possible it could happen. I don't know, can it? But grilled cheese sandwiches. I like how the other prosecutor came in and made her repeat that it was grilled cheese sandwiches. Oh man, thank you, Richard, for pointing it. Richard emailed this to me. Said, Mandy, you gotta check this out. I jumped on it and I said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put this one up. Now I feel that I had to do the research. I paused this and I came back. Let me do the research, and the first Google search actually does take me to an attorney's page, and I should really call the DUI guy and and get his opinion on this. If you haven't checked out the DUI guy, check him out. But I would love to know. I would love to know if I would love to know what foods can give a false positive, if this is accurate. So this is a website of an attorney, Michael Mullaney, and it's the criminal defense DUI charges. So maybe the attorney did come up with that defense because apparently it's a thing. Apparently, it's a thing. Flint DUI defense lawyer breaks down the foods most likely to trip up breathalyzers. Despite their popularity among law enforcement, breathalyzer tests are not a reliable way to determine whether someone is driving under the influence of alcohol. There are too many ways for the equipment to produce a false positive test, resulting in a reading above the legal limit. One of the biggest triggers for false positive is food. Not all foods can do this, however. Read on to find out which foods inflate BAC results and how to avoid a food-related DUI charge. If you have been with driving under the influence, even if you allegedly produced a positive BAC test result, you'll have many options for a strong defense. Contact Manly and Manly. This is a brilliant. This did come up first in Google. These guys are quite clever. So let's see. Fermentation. So there are bits of fermented food that's still in your mouth 15 to 20 minutes after eating may release ethanol. Burping. Food that causes indigestion can trigger burping, which may bring up ethanol glasses from an upset stomach. And then overall diet. For some, it's not just the food that is causing them to register a false positive. Instead, it's you. I mean, it's your diet. In particular, people who eat high protein, low carb diets are most likely to produce a false positive. What is that? Is that the caveman diet? What's it called? Okay. Now they go into the foods. So foods that result in positive BAC, I mean, obviously it is a grilled cheese sandwich and energy drinks, but sugary foods, cinnamon rolls, honey buns, protein bars, and pastry. Bread and pastry, honey glazed donuts, sandwiches, sliced pizza, croissant, fruit juice, white and red wine vinaigrettes like Italian and Greek dressing include vinegar. Energy drinks. One study analyzing the contents of energy drinks found that most of those tested contained small amounts of ethanol. As a result, about 40% of the people participating experiment had a false BAC. Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, what's interesting is, as you see here, she does mention the energy drinks and one study analyzing. Now, anything that says one study is already my red flag. Whenever, I don't know about you, but I have a radar that goes on, that turns on and starts beeping and making noise whenever I read about studies, because the first thing, in my opinion, that anyone should do when they see a study is go and look who funded the study. Until you know who funded the study, you cannot know how to interpret the study. He, as an attorney, he can legally have paid for that study with who knows, I mean, what the legal definition of a study is, right? He doesn't list it there. There's no hyperlink to the study. He could have put his 3 kids and his neighbor's dog in the room and gave them, and then called it a study, right? So, it's my big red flag. But maybe, there is a study and they did it also, I mean, if it was lawyers for the defense of DUI that made this study. But most extracts are made with alcohol. For example, the average bottle of vanilla extract is about, yeah. All right, well, if you're sitting in your car and you drink an entire bottle of vanilla extract, you might have bigger problems than drinking. For this reason, an officer expects you to have been drinking. They will observe you for 15 minutes before conducting your breath test. This is to ensure that you haven't just put something in your mouth. If you had foods that led to indigestion, that's interesting. Okay. I think I heard that before, actually. Then they go into fighting the false positives and whatnot. I'll include the link in the description. But yeah, I would love to get the DUI guy's perspective on this. Thank you again, Richard, for everything. And remember, my friends, be careful what you eat because you never know when you'll have to take a breathalyzer. And with that, I'll let you go.